Hello, hello. I am here. I have a box. This box came from Kendra. And so I went through it as far as getting all of the who's it's and what's it glitter pieces and putting them in one container. But I left everything together. Pulled tape. I prepped it for opening.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Marcia. I just started talking. Said I was opening this box from Kendra and going through it real quick. I was hoping to get my gym club box today, but the post office feels it necessary to transfer my boxes to 4 different locations. And people think I'm joking about this stuff, and I'm really not. As soon as I finish dumping confetti all over my desk, I'll show you. Confetti and candy, because Kendra sends all kinds of confetti. I've got crowns. I got diamonds. Lots of circles. These are foam cubes. Got a couple of little resin or glass pieces with glitter on the backs. Lots of flavors of candies. Topher keeps wandering back and forth. Marcia says hi.
Hello.
We got home and had to unload lots and lots and lots of groceries. When you're feeding 5 adults, groceries add up tremendously. Let me see if I can find this thing. This is how my mail comes in. It came in from some location. Then it comes down to here. Then it goes up to here in Atlanta. Then it comes all the way down to here. Then it comes up to my post office. It hits no less than 3 stations in Georgia. Sometimes 5. And because they did that, it shifted my boxes that were supposed to be delivered today are not being delivered until Tuesday, because Monday is a holiday. And the post office is a bunch of jerks. Pulling grocery receipts out. So first thing I'm going to do is I need to go over here and mute I always watch myself, if that makes sense. And so I mute YouTube on my computer. See if I can figure out what these rocks are. This one's really pretty. It's got like crystal hairs in here. I guess if I pulled up my list and looked at what I got from Kendra, that would make more sense to me anyway. I have no clue. Because I don't know if I forgot to save it or what. But that's okay because I want to say it's a fluorite. It is a fluorite. But just those hairs in there just are really interesting. And there's also those same kind of crystal formations down in here. Let me see if I can. Yep, I was at the grocery. I scheduled this live so that I had time to go out and go to the grocery today and get that stuff done. Would have time to get back, get this done, and finish off my hat that I'm making. This is one of those interesting ones. Yeah, $700 worth of food today from 2 stores. That's how insane it is. Okay, it's saying some of this is calico pyrite. I don't know what it's on, but it's pretty. Hi, Angelo. Hi, Rosie. Yep, Rosie, when you have 5 adults, that's what happens. Oh, let me see if I can put a little extra light on that one. And this one's just a really light colorations in that one. Beautiful, beautiful fluorites. Fluorite is always good. It's Robbie's fault. I have now started up a fascination with fluorite. Kendra wraps things so wonderfully. I actually have the opposite tower of this one. This is a Sugar Light. I have one that is predominantly this tan color with lines of purple in it, and I wanted the opposite, and she found it for me. Shungite, I think is what it's called. Not, let me see. Let me check my list. No, Shungite is darker. Sugar Light. Yep. See, there's my other one. And then she got me this one to go with it, where this one is the browns with a little bit of the purple in it. This one's all the purple with a little bit of the browns. Now, granted, some of that food will be around for more than 2 weeks because I do, the big serving of stuff. If anyone says soy sauce in the next 2 months, I'm going to punch them in the face in my house saying we need. Anyone says we need soy sauce in this house in the next probably 3 months or more, I'm going to have to throat punch them because I just bought this huge container. So some of it was stocking up on stuff like that. Same thing, olive oil, buying a just massive container of it. Look at that. That is such a beautiful, beautiful piece. This is sugar. Okay. I need to mark that as I got it. I've got a unicorn head. Got a couple of fluorites here. This is, I have a hard time remembering my stones at times. And sometimes I think I know what it is, but I just want to check. Okay, it's Quesera, which it's the blue Quesera right there, which is also lanite, which is a type of rhyolite. That's why I like this app, because it gives you information about it. So you might hear something called one thing, like you might hear of it being a Quesera stone. And then with this, you can see that it actually has another name. And when you scroll down, you can see that there's also more colorations of it. It's not just the blue one. I just happen to like this coloration a lot. So all of these will go back upstairs. They will be cataloged into my catalog of stones. And given their number, and their little number will get stuck on their little booties. Because that's what I do. And now I have to start typing my list. Oh, this is a fluorite. Oh. That is a beautiful piece of fluorite. I think having white underneath it without all the little punky holes in there might help. Love the striations in this one. Love, love, love. Oh, that is beautiful. This is the one that makes it look like it has faces in it. I see one there. There's a little guy right there. There's a face right there. Literally, I called this faces. And that was the whole reason I got it. It was just the, and I'm guessing it's just an agate. I don't think it's any, fancy dancy stone other than an agate, which, we know how pretty agates can be. Agates can get pretty gorgeous. Oh, it's actually listed as crazy lace, but it's an agate all the same, which is what I figured it would be. Based on the look of it. And these don't look like they're wrapped that well. Hi, CPR. Because I've pulled the 5,000 tons of tape off of it. It was taped. So when she closes them up, this tape is folded over. She tapes it this way. She'll have tape going this way. She'll have tape going that way. And so I just pulled all the tape off. Oh, look at that. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I know what this should be.
Hello, everybody who just joined the stream.
That was Topher. And yeah, that's a Peter site. Also known as the Tempest Stone or the Touchanite. Which comes in all kinds of variations. It's really cool. Turn that up so you can see it better. That's what this is. This baby back up. I'm going to build a city with my towers. And I have no idea what I'm going to build with all my spheres. And this one may look familiar. I had a piece of it up earlier. that is the lanolite, lanite, 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 which is also the Kesera, depending on how you say it. But it is a beautiful, beautiful stone. This one, you can see some of the pinks in it in here. So it's not just the blue. It does have some of the pinkier tones, the lighter tones in here with it. Yeah, they get pink in here, pink here. So that makes it really cool. Oh, thank you, child.
Cup?
I had to get some coffee.
Because now I can take it. I won't be coming back home for quite some
Stopped
time.
and got some Starbucks today because we ran out of creamer yesterday, so I didn't have creamer for my coffee. I am not nice without my coffee. We had bad storms this morning, like real bad, to the point that my daughter thought we were going to have tornadoes. She already had the plan mapped out with the kids to listen, and if it sounded like there was a train coming, then she was to get Jeff and I and drag us to the basement. So yeah. At first I had to do a teledoc this morning because I decided that I should have a infection. So I'm on amoxicillin 3 times a day. I'm gonna blame it on Rosie. Oh, so Phil, you sent them up here from last night. You had it last night and you sent it to me? Thanks, dude. Much appreciated. The dogs hated it. It's the one thing they hate is those sounds. And it's like, I know this weekend's going to be hard on them because anytime people have any semblance of a reason to blow off fireworks, they do so around here. So I'm pretty sure that they will be popping off fireworks. And I hate that. Absolutely hate it. And partly because of the veterans that it affects, that deal with the PTSD. And partly because of the animals that stress out from all of that. So since I didn't get my other pretties box in, I guess I'll finish up this hat today. I cut the black strip for here, and I went ahead yesterday and layered it. So I've got the leather layer that actually shows up under here. And I put in 2 sweatband layers in the visor. I did not find an Amazon package. I need to ask. I know there's a package supposed to be delivered Tuesday. Hi, Sandra. Hold on, let me talk to my phone for a minute. Can someone check and see if an Amazon package was delivered today? Because I was due to get one. It was a gift that somebody sent me. Because voice to text rocks most of the time. Okay, sometimes. Sometimes it's drunk. And it says stupid words that it's not supposed to say. And so my day today was I broke my nail. I broke this whole side off my nail. I've been working on just letting them grow naturally, and this is why I wind up putting acrylic on my nails, because that's what I do. I can't keep nails. I break them. But if I put acrylic on them, I don't tear them up as bad. So now I'll just trim this down a little bit. Oh, I do have 2 packages that came in today. Someone please locate my packages and bring them to me. So yes, Marcia, it probably is here. Because Ollie said 2 packages came in while I was out. So I already have my thread ready for this. Everything is ready to go. So I am going to start, and while the holes are cut through the leather, the holes are not cut through the material for the sweatband for the hat, which is basically cloth that takes up space. Need my little magic tin. Oh, sweet, Phil. You know, animals are a weakness of most of ours. Cutesy little animals. Oh, look at all that extra wax coming off. I even pulled the wax off the thread, and you can still see how much wax has accumulated right here, pulling that through. So I'm kind of half running blind doing this. I might have to go this way. Might be easier. And I know it doesn't make sense, but it's a coordination thing. Getting this started at the beginning because of these multiple ends going on is hard. Because there's a lot of layers right here. And I'm going to try to get it back through close to the same holes. Because in doing so, I should line up pretty close to those existing holes. I need to move my Starbucks. Let me see where. Move that a little bit. I know it's missing. My banners thing is not running around at the bottom. I try to put it where it's right, that what's visible right here at the very bottom, that's the edge of my table. Well, that went right through, so those holes must be lined up really well. Yeah, I actually have diverticulitis as well. I have cut a lot of things out of my diet to stop the flare-ups. I've had one, that was enough. It was pretty severe. They thought they were going to have to do surgery. I am not one that thinks about having surgeries. I'm the opposite of that. I'm the anti-surgery person. So yeah. So when the doctor says, well, cut these things out of your diet to avoid further attacks, I was like, okay. I actually have snacks I get to substitute the fact that I can no longer eat popcorn, or at least not any quantities that I like. Because for me, popcorn is like a free food almost, and I could sit there and eat the heck out of some popcorn. Um, Mixed nuts was the other one. I would get a jar of mixed nuts and I'd pick everything out that wasn't a peanut. And when I was under high stress, I would eat all of them in a day or two because I am a stress eater. It is bad for you to be a stress eater like I am. But it's one of those things I had to, it's like, you can't do this. You can't eat a jar of nuts for multiple reasons. One is the sheer number of servings that are in it, and the other is because of the diverticulitis. And that is exactly how I wound up having the episode. Was I was having stress because of work. And so I was sitting down just eating a bunch of mixed nuts. And the next day I was doubled over in pain. Okay, that is not convenient. Are you allergic to all corn or just popcorn? Because I have never heard of such a thing. I'm not saying it's not true. I'm just saying I've never heard of it. Oh, when you stress, you don't eat, which is equally as bad. stress non-eating is equally as bad as stress eating because you're still not taking care of yourself. Oh, wow. There's so many things that are delicious that you can't eat. Now, there are some things I have not cut out of my diet completely. I just watch how much. Like, I eat popcorn on occasion. Like, the kids will be popping popcorn, and Topher will come down, and he will give me one handful of popcorn and a glass of water. Because if you're going to eat popcorn, you have to drink lots of water to get it out of your system. And so that's what I do. So Topher looks out for me with stuff like that. I love cashews. Well, one thing you can eat if you have diverticulitis is you can eat butter, like peanut butter, because it's creamed, not crunchy peanut butter, creamy peanut butter. My husband found cashew butter. It is quite tasty. The only problem with cashew butter is when you buy a jar of it and you open it up and start eating it, you need to complete the jar within a short period of time because it will spoil a heck of a lot faster than peanut butter does. Now that's interesting, Sandra. Why do you keep catching? Because you're not like you're supposed to be, that's why. This is going to be so good. Right now I'm just working from a very long string. The threads are very long on this because it is the thread that goes all the way around. I know my late husband, I used to have to alter the adhesives that were used on him and what type of bandage was used on him. If I used one type of bandage for more than a couple of days, he would break out in blisters. And so I had all kinds of different tapes and adhesives at the house. And basically, because I had to change bandages every day on him because he was on home dialysis, I had a stick that I put the rolls on, and I would pull it from one end and stick it onto the other end every time I used one of them so that we rotated them all. But the company that sent the dialysis supplies was awesome because when I called them and told them about his reaction, offered to send them pictures, they're like, nope, that's good. We know what's going on. We're going to send you a bunch of different tapes and we want you to change out which one you're using. And they drop shipped me a box. I got it within a day or two. I started changing out his tape and all of a sudden his rash disappeared. And all these years later, because he passed in 2008, all these years later, I still find supplies that were from when he was on dialysis. because when he passed, I had just gotten a shipment of stuff in and they wouldn't take any of it back. So I wound up with bandages. So, you got a person that uses 3 or 4 bandages a day. And I had just gotten a multi-month supply of bandages. I had 4x4, 2x2s, 3x3s, gauze pads. Then I had all the actual bandages. I had Tagaderm. I loved my Tagaderm though. Loved me some using that Tagaderm. And that stuff's expensive to buy yourself. So yeah, I guess if you can't use adhesives, you have to use like the sports stuff, sports wrap that sticks to itself because it's non-adhesive. It's almost like a low-level Velcro. It's also used in, same thing. They use it for pets. You buy it for your pet, it's called vet wrap. You use it for your human body, it's called sports tape or sports wrap. And it's a non-adhesive wrap that you can get in a variety of colors. Okay, I've got a string here that doesn't need to be where it is. Okay, this is the one that just went through. I got packages. I don't show the other side because the other side actually says who I am. And where I live. And really, people, I don't need everyone knowing my address. I know who it's from. Besides, it tells me that it is a gift from Marcia. And I am covering it like that because it does have her last name on it. And it is more of these pins like I used here. Thank you, Marcia. Those are so much appreciated. This is pretty much all of my long ones, and I think a few of my short ones. Or at least all of the long ones are in the hat. And what the heck is this? Oh, it's buckles. I needed new buckles. Because it happens sometimes that I run out of buckles. Usually I wait until the last minute to order new ones because that's what all intelligent people do, right? You wait until you actually need something before you worry about ordering it. But this is a very popular size that I use in bags and such. So I bought a pack of 10. My daughter is going to be doing some costuming. So I want to make sure that She has what she needs. And I have what I need. So now I have separate these. Marcia, you rock. I don't know if I've told you that enough. Flying hat. Marcia could start a leather crafting store calling Flying Leather. Because every time she works on a project, she throws it across the room a few times. Trying not to poke needles through my fingers. On this, I would have basted all the pieces together first. Tied it every 10th hole or something to hold it together. Still a lot of wax on this thread. I guess I did not de-wax it quite enough. In the hole, George. George is the nondescript being because I use that word, I use that name all the time. I do not know George. I do not know who George is. I do not know where George comes from, but George is the blame for everything. It's George's fault. Oh, my back hurts. I might have to crack it a little bit from wandering around the stores so much. Topher and I spent a few hours in the stores. We only went to 2 stores. And then tomorrow he wants to go get his hair cut so he looks like a little gentleman. And after the amount of help he gave me today at the grocery, I cannot argue that one. He goes to a proper barber. It's the only people that cut his hair that don't irritate him. One of the things about autism is you have little quirks, and one of his quirks is hair on his body. He doesn't like to feel hair touching him, the ends of hair swooping across him and stuff. And so a lot of places when they cut your hair and they let all that hair fall all over the place, it drives him nuts. This barber shop does not. They are constantly keeping... Ouch. Actually, I did not go to Costco because I'm not... My husband has a Costco card. I do not. And we got it from... My brother from another mother works at Costco. and he's allowed to have one family member on his account for free. And because Jeff shops more than I do, he put Jeff on his account. So I pulled up into the Costco parking lot, and Topher looks at me and goes, Mimi, do you even have a Costco card, or is that the one Mr. Jeff has? I said, that is the one Jeff has. So I rerouted and went to BJ's instead. And life is a trade-off. There are some products we prefer from BJ's and some products we prefer from Costco. And since one of the memberships is free, my membership to BJ's is like a 2-for-1. And it was half price through my work. It's going to look so good. Especially once I brush out all this extra wax. I use soft bristled toothbrushes a lot for my Leatherwork. I just dropped a needle. I like going to Costco's. I think the beef prices at Costco are better than they are at BJ's. And I think they also have better options when it comes to their beef selection. But BJ's has other things that they have better prices on it, because we do cross-compare prices. My husband will walk around the store with his phone out, checking prices from the different stores we go to. And then marking the list of where he's going to get what items. And he has no problem whatsoever going to multiple stores in one day. Usually we'll put a cooler in the back of the Tahoe with cooler packs. To make sure we keep our cold foods cold while we shop at multiple stores. I had to keep my trip to the last store to a minimum because of not having the cooler with me. So I put all the cold foods in my cold packs, bags, cold food carrier bags, and insulated them with blankets to keep the cold out. Cold in and the heat out. So basically trapping the cold under it, which works for a short period of time and worked fine for what we needed. We got home, you pull the blanket up and you could feel the cold under the blanket come up. Because insulation is insulation. Later, Phil. It's so cold. I hate stitching blind, but for what I'm doing, this is the right way to do it. Because the alternative is to stitch it on, stitch just the leather strip on, and then go back and attach the sweatband to the leather stitches, which means I have to run 2 stitching rows. So this way is easier because I'm only running 1 stitching row and everything is secured at one time. That is not the one I need. No, no, no. We're not having this. We're not having this tangling of threads. There. Take care of it before I pull it too tight. And then wind up with knots I can't get out. Don't know how long I'm going to stream tonight. I'm feeling kind of really crappy. It comes from having an infection in my mouth. But I'm a reasonable person. I'm going to go to the dentist and have him remove the tooth. It is one I've had trouble with ever since I was a teenager. I grew up with epilepsy. I had seizures. I would clamp my teeth down really hard when I would have a seizure. And I also am a really bad tooth grinder at night when I sleep. And so my teeth have hairline fractures in them. And this particular back tooth, they capped it. And when they capped it, they put the cap sitting too high. Okay, if it's echoing, then I am going to have to restart this phone. Pull this off of here. And let me go back out of here. No, that is not what I'm going to do. Stop it. I'm going to change settings, camera. No, that isn't it. Turn the camera off for a minute. Okay, can you hear me now? I shall wait and see before I do anything else. Can someone bring my bottles of water down, please? I hear an Oliver. It is an Oliver. Awesome. I need to find some music I can put on in the background that won't get me copyright strikes. Oh, go through it already. Thank you. The downfall of working with blunt needles is it's hard to get them to go through fabric easily. And these leather needles are predominantly blunt. They're not real sharp, pointy ones like you would normally use for sewing fabrics. There we go. I think my stream is one of the chill ones out of all of our streams. Just kind of chill out, sit, kick back, chill out, and watch me do repetitive stitching or repetitive hole making or and one of the things, you know, I know it looks simple at times, but the techniques I use to make my precision and to make my stitches do what I want is part of what makes my things what they are. And it's easier if I pull it just put it through the sweatband material. It's easier if I just put it through the sweatband material alone and then poke it through the rest of or find the holes and poke it through the rest. And could I sew this on a machine? Yeah, I could. But it wouldn't be the same. It would have that industrial look. Manufactured on a machine industrial look, which for some things is fine. But that's not what my leather work is. Trust me, I don't hand stitch my clothes when I make clothes. If I make a leather skirt, I'm not hand stitching an entire leather skirt together. Everything I do, my mouth hurts. You rock. My grandchild brought my water down that I got when I went grocery shopping because hydration is important. Especially when taking antibiotics. Hi, Terry. It's so good to see you. I don't think Phil is still here. I think he had to run off and do something. Marcia is on the phone. Rosie was here, but I don't know if she stayed. You missed me unboxing my stuff from Kendra. I opened my Kendra box at the start because I got pretties. Well, let me see. I came on at almost 6:50. So you haven't missed that much. Oh, actually, I've been on an hour and 13 minutes. So, yeah. I forgot this thing tells me how long I've been online. Yeah, Terry, I was watching your information on that. Is the car going to survive or is it a total loss? Oh, that's right. It is Angelo's birthday. Happy birthday to you. My house is a zoo. Oh, goodness. Do you guys have some kind of insurance that help cover the cost of replacing the car? Oh, it's all fixable. That's good. But they're not going to be able to catch the guy who did it, I'm guessing, who caused all the issues. Yeah, it's something I never looked into even when I traveled because I wasn't driving. So whether or not individual drivers got some kind of insurance like we do here in the US, I don't know. Like here it's required. In Georgia. You can't have a driver's license in the state of Georgia unless you have insurance. At minimum, you have insurance. It's called liability, which means that if you are liable for a wreck, it covers the cost of repairing the other person's stuff. And you can get full coverage or comprehensive coverage, which covers yours as well. You can also get what is called uninsured motorist, which I do have, which means if some Dumbo that doesn't have any insurance and is driving illegally hits your car, they will still fix your car. Or you have a guy across the street who has a car that was never transferred into his name and doesn't have insurance on it. Have his truck roll down the hill and hit yours. Your uninsured motorist would kick in and cover it. And then go after him for the money. I am going to have to find him for the rest of the damage to my husband's car that has to be fixed. Yeah, that's terrible. And it's the reason why I pay the extra money for the insurance I have on the Tahoe, is because of the replacement cost of the vehicle. If the replacement cost was low, I would not have comprehensive insurance on it. Ouch. Yeah, so that sucks. Oh, it's going to look so good. And so you have the top of the hat, and you have this black piping here, and then you have the black at the bottom, and it will have the black on the brim. Accent pieces. Oh, good. You can't work without a car, and you can't fix your car without a job. That bites. Well, may the person that caused the wreck suffer the bites of a million fleas. Oh, so you cashed out your vacation? Sucks that you don't get to use your vacation time, but it's a blessing that they did that for you. So you can get use that to supplement your missing work, but also to be able to get your car fixed. The next hole is a hole that would make Marcia fling this hat across the room, because now I have to catch the brim in my stitch. All that money goes to your repairs. Yeah. Come on. In the hole, baby. In the hole. And out the other side where you're supposed to be. You friggin' annoying thing. Come on. Okay, I'll take this one out too then. Hi, Donis. I know, here you are half retired. You can't spend your money on what you want. Spend your money on, can't buy yourself all kinds of pretties because you dag blasted car because some butthead caused a wreck and fled the scene, so they're not paying for the damages they caused. I will tuck in this tail in a minute. Before I pull my stitches tight. Okay. I am going to finish this hat. Whether I finish it on stream is another story, but this fat hat is getting finished tonight. There's just no question about it. This hat is going to be finished tonight. I will get someone to take good pictures of it tomorrow, probably my daughter. Get her to take some really good pictures for me so I can hide them, because I can't post pictures of this until the hat is given to the person that's receiving it. It's a gift. That is not where you go. Where is it? No. There's a hole in here that I can't see. There's a hole under the band that is like hidden. There it is. This actually did not kill me the way I thought it would. I thought getting these first couple of stitches in this corner of the hat would be killer for me. And it was not. The hardest part is going to be making sure I catch all the layers. Because the last thing I need is for my visor not to be sitting correctly because it slipped. It's a lot of thickness there that I have to go through. So this is like 3 layers of leather. And then there's 2 layers on the visor. And 2 layers of hat band. Take a break for a minute. I need to stretch my fingers. Get something to drink. try real hard to keep myself hydrated. And while we were out, I bought some bottled water to drink. And coffee, because coffee. Everybody needs coffee. Through those holes. Through those holes. And through those holes. Yay. And I do sit here and count layers while I'm stitching. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Usually I don't have 7 layers. There's the hole. Ouch. Caught my finger in there. I actually do drink tea, hot tea in the evenings. The kids will make me tea. Topher more specifically. He's more of a tea drinker than Ollie is. And it's funny because I can tell when he wants something because he will show up at my desk with tea. My workspace, whatever you want to call it. He will show up with a big glass of tea or a big cup of tea. And then stand there smiling at me. Do you do just straight tea? I think we've had this conversation before. Or do you do flavored teas? Yeah, there's a company I buy my tea from. It's the place I get my tea from. Kids can drink the tea from the grocery if they want, but it's called Harney and Sons, and they do flavored teas. I don't know if they ship over to your part of the world. Let me see. I know they sell them at some stores. Walmart used to sell Harney teas, but they have white teas, green teas, oolongs, black teas, just all kinds of teas and tea blends. No, I have no affiliation with them. I get no kickbacks from them, but their teas are good. Yeah, if I do a regular tea, that's how you drink. Like black tea is with milk and sugar. Some of the teas I get from Harney are like that. Other teas to put milk and sugar in them would be kind of gross. I don't put, when I'm drinking mint tea, I don't put anything in it. Okay, how many holes do I have on this side? I have 1, 2. And I have 2 there. Okay. Okay, it's right. Just checking my hole count to make sure my inside and my outside have the same kind of number of holes. Because if my hole count is off, then it's time to take a step back and figure out where. And I would know that it is associated with the brim, because prior to getting to the brim, everything was lined up. But I think it has to do with these curves at the front of the brim that throws me off. But I know it'll all come out in the end. Yeah, there's some blends that I really, really like. And they are blended teas, multi-flavors. And there's some of them I really like, and then there's other ones. I love tiramisu. And I have a tiramisu tea that is gross. It does not taste like tiramisu. Because I love me some tiramisu. I love a good tiramisu. I need to get the stuff and make myself a good tiramisu. I've never made it before, but I figured I could figure it out. I have confidence in myself. I could figure it out, and then I could tease Robbie about it. And I'll have to go back and watch her live later. She stopped in and said, "Where were you?" I was live, but I was at the grocery, so didn't know she was going live. She didn't announce she was going live. Not that it would have done any good. I was doing groceries, so making groceries, doing groceries, grocery shopping, whatever you want to call it, from wherever in the world you live. Topher and I were out doing the grocery shopping and spending lots of money. That's all I know. Oh, missed a hole. There we go. It'll slip so nice right outside of the hole instead of in the hole. I have a recipe for tiramisu. I just have to make up my mind that I can make the custard that goes with a tiramisu. I am smart. I am intelligent. I can follow recipes. And I know it will come out okay. I just have to convince myself of that. And then I'll make myself a tiramisu. Because saying, "Hey, Marcia, can you have your friend overnight me tiramisu," would be a little insane. And by the time it got here, it'd probably be flipped over 5,000 times and be kind of gross. Yeah, I absolutely love it. I can't even remember when I had it first. I just know that from the first time I had it, I fell in love with it. Um, it might have even have been like a cook-off thing at work, a potluck at work, um, because we had so many different nationalities. We had one guy, his big thing that he always brought to a potluck, he was always on desserts. He always brought baklava. Yes, the dogs are barking. They've been put out to do their business and they're talking to the neighbor dog saying, "Hey, I'm here. I see you." Because they're dogs and that's what they do. Them and the neighbor dogs bark back and forth. They have like 5 dogs next door. But yeah, we had the one guy, he would make baklava for work, and we different people with different nationalities. We would have people that came from India that would make traditional India dishes. We would have people from China and Japan, and everybody would bring something that was made by, it was, we had cultural meals. We didn't do Christmas and Thanksgiving. We did holiday potlucks, um, to accommodate everybody's belief system. We didn't want to force anyone to have it called any specific thing for them. We also did a holiday gift exchange that was optional for people to participate in. And when I left, they quit doing it because I was the one organizing it. I was the one emailing everybody at all the different in our group. And this was separate from the one the company held. Yeah, and this guy made baklava in a variety of ways, and it was always delicious. He would put different kinds of nuts in his baklava. So he might make a baklava with cashews in it, which I thought was pretty cool. And sometimes we would do craft markets where people that worked there that did crafts could sell their crafts. He would sell baklava. It was like his second job. People would pre-order baklava from him. He would come into work all the time with trays and trays of baklava. I'll tell you, this part is not as frustrating as I thought it would be. Yep. Layers and layers of that dough. As thin as possible, as many layers as possible. Yum, yum. Dadgummit, now I want baklava. I did go buy ice cream tonight. Or today, I should say. I bought myself some ice cream. I tell the kids if I catch anyone just eating it up, I'm going to lick the top of the ice cream. I do cook, and I'm pretty good at it. I've been cooking since I was fairly young, actually. I grew up in a family where cooking for people was your love language. Yeah, that's my grandmother would cook, and you would show up at her house to visit with her, and you would go into the kitchen and sit at the table with her. And if she's cooking, she'll, oh, you want something to eat? And if you said no, she would go, oh, but you need to eat. If you don't eat, you're going to get too skinny and you'll just blow away. And so feeding people was her way of saying that she liked you. She cared about you. And if she asked you to stir her pots when she was cooking, that was a major thing because my grandmother didn't let anyone stir her pots. You go to stir her pots, and she'd get your dirty dog fingers off my pots. I was always allowed to it because she's one of the people that taught me how to cook. And it's kind of hard to teach someone how to cook if you don't let them stir the pot. I have another cousin that was never allowed to stir my grandmother's pot. My aunt, I had an aunt that was not allowed to touch grandma's pots. I think it's because my grandmother saw one time how my aunt cleans her own house, or how she did. She doesn't clean anything anymore. But she would get one cloth. And while she did use bleach, she cleaned everything in the house with one cloth. That was counters, cabinets, tables, chairs, table legs, chair legs, the bathroom, the back of the toilet, the bottom of the toilet down by the floor. Everything was cleaned with one rag. And if she came out of the bathroom from cleaning and saw something on the counter, she would just swipe it across the counter with no problem, not even thinking about it. So if my grandmother ever watched her clean her house, it would explain why my grandmother would never let my aunt touch her pots. It is kind of gross. Actually, it is kind of very gross. My sister and I always mistakenly dropped our cups when we were getting them out of the cabinet, the plastic cups we were allowed to use. We always dropped our plastic cup getting it out of the cabinet. She thought we were the most clumsy kids on earth, but that's because she would make us wash it with hot water and soap. So it was our way of always making sure that the stuff we used at her house was clean. We never used her towel, her dishcloths or whatever she had, cloths that she had out. Never, ever, ever. Because we never knew where they had been. Oh, shoot. I had it in there and I pulled it right back out of the hole. I come from some mixed up people, Marcia. That's all I can say. My grandmother is the one that would give you the shirt off of her back. My grandmother grew up in a time that you didn't have someone of an opposite race or a different race in your home as a woman unless your husband was there. But my grandmother would make sandwiches and get drinks or make a pitcher of tea when the guys were working on the road out front of her house, and she would make my uncle take stuff out to him. I would have been in trouble if I was the clumsy one. As kids, were given responsibilities of things we had to take care of at an early age. And part of that had to do with the divorce. Mom and Dad got a divorce when we were really young. And so we got up in the morning and we walked to school. And there's a possibility sometimes my mom had gone to work before we left for school. So we were kind of given responsibilities very, very early in life. I think my sister and I were 8 8 to 10, 10 to 12, somewhere in there. And by the time Mom got home from work, we had the full meal cooked out for her. So we would get home from school. We would get up in the mornings and get ourselves to school, which that time we were catching the bus. We would get ourselves to school and get home from school, do our homework. And by that time, we had already taken something out. And so we would have dinner cooked by the time she got home. And sometimes she would send us to the store to get a bottle of Coca-Cola and a pint of ice cream. And we would split it up and have Coke floats. Thank you, Marcia. Proper tools help. As long as the purchaser loves it and the person that's getting it loves it. Otherwise, I have to find someone with a big head that wants a green officer's hat. I did cross stitching and found that it takes too long to get a final product. That is where my impatience is. And the only reason why this hat isn't finished already is because of me streaming it. If I were working on this myself, I would have finished the hat in 2 to 3 days. But I purposefully did not work on it when I was not, or didn't work much on it while I was not on stream, so that I could take you guys through the process with me. Of making this glorious hat. The flat cap, like Scott's, was challenging, partly because it was the first time for me doing that style. And I used the ostrich legs, so there was a lot involved in lining up the patterns of the legs to create a balance in the hat, because I was not going to throw it together willy-nilly and have the lines of the pattern of the legs not be consistent from left to right. the hat I made for Cece was extremely challenging because of all the cutouts in it. So there were challenges there. So almost each piece has its unique things about it that are tough or harder than other projects. On Scott's, I put one of the bands on 2 times to get it right. I know there's a big blasted hole that this is supposed to go through. I just saw it. I thought I saw it. There it is. Thank you, Donis. See, Marsha, I don't think I could do that. It's kind of like people who use pretty much sewing thread to crochet. And they'll show crochet granny squares that are just like this big, little bitty things. And it's like, what the heck? Crazy people. See, Sandra, you're crazy. And I mean that in the nicest way. That's insane. And this is coming from someone that does know how to crochet. That was another one of those things that my grandmother taught us kids at an early age, was how to crochet. Her logic was if you were cold enough, you could pick up a rope and make yourself a blanket. With crochet, you can make clothes, you can make blankets. You know, that was my grandmother's logic. Yeah, see, Mom used to crochet with small crochet yarn thread that was closer to this size, and make different kinds of things. She would do some beading, some beaded scarves. She actually won in a competition in a state fair. She won blue ribbon for some of her crochet works. I just never caught on to it because, again, it's one of those things that it takes too long to get results. I do not want to work on a project for a month in order to put it on my bed. That's why I have quilt squares that have never been sewn together. Individual quilt squares, I can do them. Each one is a project. So there's a very distinct beginning and end for each square. I can even sew the squares together because each row of squares, or each bigger square of squares, is a project. My problem comes in is putting it all together. Yeah, I just could not imagine trying to crochet with that thin of a thread. It just it sounds insane. Very, very tedious work. It's kind of like making a dress with intricate beading on it. It's like, no. Is it pretty? Absolutely. Would I wear it? Absolutely. Will I make it? I'll make the dress. Someone else can do the beading. Yeah, no, I'm not going to work on something for 9 months before I can put it on a bed. No. We're talking about people who crochet. And then you have people who crochet with sewing thread. Not crochet thread, sewing thread. Yeah. So yeah. Marcia does needlepoint, cross stitching type stuff. I think she said she did 48 stitches to the inch or something like that. Something insane like that. But yet, at the same time, Marcia's watching me do this work, and she's like, I would have thrown that across the room already. This bottom one wants to slip down. I don't have patience. You know, I have used the trim that's full of beads and added it to something. Kind of a cheater. But yeah, no. I'm over halfway there. Woo! But yet you will sit there and stuff 48 stitches into a inch. With your needlepoint and crochet stuff. My hands are getting a rest tomorrow. I will probably get some patterns together for some projects. work on drafting some crazy old submarine. I don't know who on earth would want a submarine. But because of the way I hold my needles and everything, I wind up with tension in my thumbs. So tomorrow is going to be a break day from doing what I'm doing right now. I'm going to have to look at what I have in my beads and see if I have any pieces that would work well with that submarine to bring it together. So you do all the string arts, a lot of the string arts. That's what I call them. I've done macrame. I can do some basic macrame. I can make a planter. Or a plant hanger, I should say. I can make a basic plant hanger with macrame. But a lot of that stuff you listed, yeah. I do crochet, or I know how. I have cross stitched. I've done needlepoint. I do not know how to do crewel embroidery. Or I know how to do smocking, but I'm not. Macrame I've done. Weaving I've done. But yeah. My beadwork is stringing beads that I'm going to wear. I am going to be doing some beadwork in sewing beads onto things that I make, because I think it would be cool to have some cool beads integrated into a project. Some stuff I do, I don't know if I do it right, because some of the stuff I do, I was self-taught. The stuff I learned when I was a lot younger, it was just me in a book. Wet fingers. Because that was before there was all these YouTube videos. Yes, I got all those beads Friday night. I am excited about them. I didn't think about doing it to the other one that I did. which I thought they were amethyst beads, but now watching his old videos, they're not. They're garnets, but they're a purpley garnet. But anyway, I might have to get someone to test them to find out. I'm actually really excited about the beads. I just probably won't be getting them until I go down there in December because Ravi, for some reason, does not like shipping to me anymore. He says it has something to do with me buying stuff that's like super delicate. You know, that stuff we buy that he doesn't want anyone, he won't sell to anyone that can't come get it. And the reality is, some of the stuff I've gotten from him, I would not have wanted him to ship. Regardless if my post office has been really good about not damaging all my boxes. He has shipped me, I mean, I have picked up stuff from him I wouldn't even want. Yeah, you're just super crafty, Sandra. Okay, during the zombie apocalypse, we need Sandra. She can make sure that things are put together correctly. I'll do the leather work. She can do the other stuff. We will make sure that people are taken care of. Someone else can take on the cooking. I'll pitch in on cooking on occasion. He's sending me the box that you gave him. Of the item that was from Kendra. He is shipping that to me. And the ear pods that I had him pick up for the kids. Earbuds, whatever, Bluetooth earbuds. Ouch. Caught my thumb in the string. I'm just going to tell him to start sending your boxes to me. I'll pre-screen them. Hi, Jennifer. Yeah, I would actually change the time. I originally had it set to 6:15 and I changed it to 6:45 and then was still 5 minutes late because today was grocery day. And for some insane reason, I decided that I should do the groceries myself instead of sending Jeff. He doesn't spend as much money as me, so I should send him from now on. He's more frugal than I am, I guess. But until my mouth heals up and makes it feel good for me to actually consume foods, I'm going to be making myself like protein smoothies and shit. Healthy stuff. Okay, ice cream is not healthy, but that's beside the point. I did get fruit. Yeah, well, I'm feeding 5 grown adults, so the food bill and food prices have just insane. Because like Topher's like, can we get less chicken to eat? And I'm like, nope. Chicken is cheaper. We still will be eating chicken. For my smoothies, I'll do like strawberries and bananas. I heard a rumor today, I need to confirm it, that Hugh Jackman is going to Wolverine again. I thought he had retired as Wolverine. But my daughter heard that he was going to Wolverine up again. But bananas are so good. Oh, it's a Deadpool thing. Only for Deadpool. I think the man is gorgeous, personally, but you know. I like men. I like good looking men. And I'm very opinionated on what is good looking. I don't know if it's him or his character, I think is sexy. Might be his character. It might be Wolverine that I like. I don't know. I liked him in The Greatest Showman too. Even though there was a lot of fiction in that. Find the dag blasted hole. Thank you, Donis. I very much appreciate you coming and hanging out with us and chatting. And as soon as this is delivered to its new owner, there will be photos posted all over of this as well. It'll actually be up on my Instagram. Yeah. I just know that at one time he said he was done with Wolverine. That was like, that ship has sailed. I'm not reviving the character again. And he's one of those people that says when he's done with a project, he's done with it. No take backs, kind of thing. And he actually was done with Wolverine. Um, Felt that he had played the part, did it well, and brought it through to the end. And then Deadpool. And then Deadpool. Deadpool sucked him in. Ouch. That's stuck on something. And I think I went way over on the amount of thread needle for this. Like, I'm going to have some huge leftovers from this one. And that's okay because I need to put together something else to go with this because you know how I am. He will get a basic keychain with it. The new owner will, because that's just what we got to do. Here we go. Whee. A few more stitches. I'll be on the home stretch. My finger just popped. think I caught one thread under the other. There we go. Is that one? Yeah, he just couldn't go through it anymore, and they dead pulled him and got him to go in with them on that project, and I'm sure it'll be great. I think I've seen 2 of them. I might have to go back and look and see if I've seen 2 of them or just one. Oh, come on. Where's the hole? Here it goes. It leaves 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that'll work. And it's funny because as I sew these things, when something actually comes out 100% the way I wanted it to, yeah, I'll reshape this thing and get it on where it needs to be. It won't be that bad. I'll mist it with some water, stick it on a head, and it'll just happen. Because I do have extra heads laying around here. I think I'm going to have to move the ring light to my right. I have it coming in from the other side because of me being right-handed. I might have to do some more beating and banging to get this thing to shape the way I want it to. Yep, got these threads crossed. There we go. You gotta have the threads in the right order. in the hole. No. Because the hats sit out so much with they're just naked heads. I mean, I guess if I'm going to be doing any dye work or anything like that, I would have to. But I have so many different heads, and I'm wondering if the head I need is the one I've got everything stuck to. That would be my luck. That my big fat head is the one I stuck all my pins in. Oh. Haha. She's not going in that little. There it goes. When I take a trip to Texas. I need to find out when hubby is okay with just randomly running off to Texas for no apparent reason. That's the frustrating part, is 24 hours of driving just to get the trailer. No major adventure, no visiting with people. Just go down there, get a trailer, and come home. It is. But it is what it is. It's not their fault it got stolen, nor is it their fault it was recovered. I just wish they would have waited a few more days before they recovered. Yeah, they won't get it to me. I actually asked that question. It wouldn't be too bad if they would at least meet me halfway. It's the driving back all that way with an empty trailer. Yeah, I think at least the cost should be covered. But I told them, I said, I have to pull over a day out of my schedule, a few $100, in gas, plus a hotel room. I could pick something up from Robbie as long as he doesn't need it anytime in the near future. I do not know how that keeps happening. No, Jennifer, they said it looks like the people who stole it tried to tie it to their vehicle, and they went around a corner and it came loose. So they left it sitting on the side of the road. All my locks are still intact. It was 2 miles from the hotel. The fact that it was sitting in a residential neighborhood for several weeks before anyone reported it is really strange to me. God, I keep pulling this needle out. There we go. I will. I will check it over to see if there's anything that needs repairing on it. It would be ideal for Lily and Jeff to go get it, except she doesn't like his driving. And he isn't going to let her drive all the way down there. I said it should say across there to there. And I'm not so sure I want the two of them wandering off like that. Oh, I can see them having troubles now. What are you doing, Topher?
Being suffered.
You're suffering?
Yes.
Where are you suffering?
My game is why I'm suffering.
Oh.
It just got done updating. Went to go move the files over to my other drive and I can't because it failed. So.
Ouch! Stabbed myself again. Topher likes to play computer games, and he's been having a little bit of trouble with his game. No trouble. Yeah, it's like a little over 20 holes. 25 holes left. I've got a child lurking behind me.
Yeah, just looking at chat.
If you want to watch my chat, you should be watching my stream.
True.
But you can't have the sound up because we don't need reverb.
No, we don't. My volume's all the way down anyway.
Yeah, the trailer has one of those round locks on it. You know, the kind that's almost impossible to cut off or pop open. You're not smashing it with a hammer to get into it. They are also harder to pick. That was intentional. But I did tell Jeff we will be changing the lockup process for the trailer when it's not attached. Because there will be a cable that runs from the front of the trailer through the tires. If someone tries to steal it again, it will not be an easy process. I need to get to sewing machines. I have a few. I just have to have space in my house. I was supposed to bring all my sewing machines, everything that's in storage sitting in North Carolina. I was supposed to bring all that to the house and get it settled in. And then my daughter and grandkids moved in. My daughter has all her streaming stuff set up in my sewing room. It's what is supposed to be my sewing room. She's basically living out of my sewing room. And my guest rooms were taken over by grandkids. I have industrial shelving that I was putting up, but without being able to move the stuff out of the big room of the basement into the sewing room area, I have no place to put anything to be able to put the shelves up. I can't work on the shelving because it's like one of those puzzles where you have one hole and you have to keep moving things around till you put the numbers in order or till you make the picture. Well, mine's not missing a full piece. It's only missing half a piece. So therefore, it's impossible for me to do this task. But I have some really cool sewing machines. When I finally get them moved, I'll have to do videos of me using them. My eldest is from 1881. So I have old sewing machines. And I actually do enjoy sewing on them. It's my takeaway, get away from technology thing. Why are you being difficult there? I used to actually sew on one of my old sewing machines on a regular. That was like my regular sewing machine. One of my favorites is called a Wheeler and Wilson. Unfortunately, getting needles from it is hard. I have some. I've hoarded them. Anytime I could find them, I would buy them up so I would have it to sew with the machine for a long time. But the reality is, when I get them back from North Carolina, I might start selling off some of them. And just keep the finest of them. You think so, Jennifer? Well, of course I can. I have done so much with so little for so long that now I can do almost anything with absolutely nothing. Yep. Could have glued it together and then put holes in it to stitch it. That would have made my life easier. Oh, that's cheating. And then when the project gets hot and sweaty, you have glue leakage. Don't do glue leakage. I do know people that do that. They glue everything they're working on. And have you ever seen those high-dollar purses where you can see the glue leaching out of the seams? And that's from using too much glue and not putting more responsibility on your makers. To ensure the plate parts are together. Correct. They basically glue the project together and then slap some stitching in it. Oh, Lord. Doesn't want to go together. You sit there. There it goes. In the home stretch now. There we go. Every time I pull that through, I am pulling that thread really snug to keep my stitches in line. That went together nice. Sometimes these holes just align and it's just like boom. Other times they want to be off just slightly, make you work for it. Like wiggle it just a little bit. Trying to get it in the hole. Of course, working with the hat band not having any holes in it makes it more difficult too. I just didn't want to punch holes in it because it is fabric. I didn't want to risk the integrity. That green on the inside is kind of cool too. That suede color on the inside. Yeah. I think it gives the hat more structural integrity by leaving the hat band, the sweatband, without me punching holes in it. Initially, the hat comes with a sweatband, but the sweatband it's leather, and to me, that's counterproductive. You're not going to absorb sweat with leather. The same way you would with a nice cloth band. And they can use like upholstery cleaner and a toothbrush or a rag to clean it. Or take it to your local boot black leather care person and say, make it pretty again and clean my band and make it not stinky sweaty. because people like me know how to fix that stuff. It's like, pay me dollars and I'll make it pretty and make it beautiful and smell good. This entire hobby came out of me wanting to be able to take care of my own leather goods. And then it evolved into, I'm not paying that much for that leather bag. I could make it myself. And here we are. Famous last words. I could do it myself better. I can make myself a bag and it'll look better than that stuff in the store. And I agree with that. I think if I just put leather in here, he would be sweating up a storm. Yeah, and I think after I finish this, I'm done for the night. Okay, I've got to. What are you catching on? There we go. Pulling the wrong thread. Pulling the thread that's already set and it's not coming anymore. Get it where it's almost in where it needs to be. And then it jumps out of the hole. wanted to make sure it caught that under layer. Come back over to this one. Haha. Ha 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 ha. Get all my threads on the same side of the hat. Then I get to do the fun stuff. It's real weird doing your normal stitching techniques, but using this thread because this thread is so much thicker. It's so much thicker than a normal sewing thread is. Ouch. Stab my finger. You know, I have to do it at least once per project. If I do not stab myself within a project, the project was not done correctly. No, you stay here. Stitching up this back a little bit. Where the hat band meets. I'm trying to run some thread between the layers of it. And there's also this, what's left of this leather layer. Do some stitching on it just a little bit. Just in case someone ever looks all the way underneath, which I doubt they ever would look at this level of underneath. It'll also give me a place to tie off my threads, which are actually on the underside of everything. I always loved being able to tuck my thread ends hidden in a project so you cannot see where I tied off stuff. I'm going to shorten these because, like I said, I had way too much thread left over on this project. I did my surgical knot, cut the ends, and then I'm going to burn the ends so I can make a little ball of nylon at the end, so it makes like a button under there. Got a couple of needles here, stick them in the head over here. The only thing I have to do, which I'll do on my own, is I have to cut the black strap. There'll be a black strap that goes across the top of this. Let's see. And there'll be a black band that goes around here. Standard hat band looking piece. So yeah, I'll have to shape it up, get it to fold in all the right places. Stuff like that. And then it'll be done. Yes, Marcia, I have to have a wound per project. I have to stab myself or cut myself every time I work on a project. It is inevitable. It happens. So yeah. So with that, now that that is finished, for the most part, I gotta sort these. Luckily, these pieces aren't different from the short and tall pins. They're all the same size. I guess technically I could make a little divider for this and make it easier for sorting them. Let's see, I think these are all long. They are. These don't tell me if they're long or short. Ooh, long. Is that the same? Oh, those are even a little bit longer. Are those the same? Yeah, these are the same. These end pieces don't matter. I'll get to it in a minute. I go ahead and I take them apart. Hey, he's not a long one, he's a short one. Are these the same length? Close enough. It's definitely not this long. Nope. My child is in here laughing about something. I'm sure it's funny.
A little.
I'm sorry it's little.
No, that's not right. See that whole me not knowing when people are flirting with me. He's been flirting with me, and I was like, "Is she marked about something he said?" He goes, "I'm flirting with you." And I went, "Oh." Whoops.
My daughter's inability to know when someone's flirting.
I didn't think he's like, "I'm not a date with him," so I should know he's flirting.
Yay. I'm going to keep those separate. Oh, I guess I could just do it this way. That would be faster than picking them up. Gosh, I'm so smart. These are actually a bit longer than these. Not a problem either. Sometimes I do need really super long things, but they're 3 different sizes. So the length of them is different. That's it. And I just keep them separate for my own self. If I'm working with thinner leather, I'll by default grab the shorter ones. Like the hat, because of how many layers it was, I was using the longer ones. And the new ones you sent me are a little bit longer. So I get a dozen of those. So that's like super, that was a super bonus. So that makes me happy. I'm happy, happy, happy. I love this little box. I don't know where I got it from. I picked it up somewhere. And I've been using it for my Rango. Rango is a brand, a maker of these tools, and the Rango tool set I got 5 of these different hole punches. The distance between the stitch holes is different. Sorry, I got wax on here, but you can see the distance between stitch holes is different. So from center hole to center hole is different on these two. Same thing for the 2-prong one, which are great for going around curves. And then when you've got really angled stuff, I've got a single prong one. So with this, I can punch almost anything. These are the 2 most standard sizes in Leatherwork. If it's really odd spacing, I can always use the single and get away with it. But I got these plus this hammer. I put the leather strap on it because the head kept moving, for just a little bit more than I paid for another brand, one of these. And I was taking a chance that he had quality, and I am not disappointed. These are every bit as good as the one I paid more money for. So now I like this box. It works great with these. I set it up on the computer when I'm pinning, so I can just I turn it, this way, so that these are towards me, so I can just pull them up and go. I got a ton of these. You know what this is for, huh? They're magnetic enclosure or closures. They have this plasticky thing on them that you can sew through. I am making myself a jewelry bag or jewelry holder, and Marsha came up with the bright suggestion of, instead of using a snap or something like that, why not just put the magnet in there and it be invisible? And I can use it if I'm working on something. I can absolutely use these to hold stuff together, because they're magnets, and they're pretty strong magnets. So yeah, one of the things I do on occasion is I actually put my needles on magnets to magnetize them, so that if I drop my needles, I can put something metal down and pick them up. And they're not magnetic right now, so not very magnetic. So that means I need to pull my little magnet from over here. Did you know if you leave something on a magnet for a period of time, a piece of metal that's magnetic that can be magnetized, if you leave it sitting on a magnet for a while, it will actually start picking up to be magnetic. So I will magnetize my needles again. Is usually I can just take my scissors and put them down and pick up needles, because they're magnetic. See, I need to get myself a few more of these cases, and actually I need a cabinet I can stick them in anyway. So that is it for today. As I said, I'll do the rest of it later. I'm actually not feeling good. I need to take my antibiotics. So I'm going to do that. And I will finish blocking the hat and putting the hat band on it. Well, the strap that goes in the front and the strap that goes on the top. I'll get those done, and I'll pull out the head for him and let him sit on a head and straighten up, so to speak. So, no, Marcia, I am actually not organized. I work very hard to push myself to organize things, because otherwise I find that I have like 20 of these because I can't find them when I go to look for them. And then I go to the store and I buy another pack of them, which has 4 in it. And a few months later, I can't find any of them. So I go buy another pack of 4, and then I find the other 16 that are already here. That happened with zippers. I went to put a zipper in something. I could not find my zipper tape. Ordered some more zipper tape. Had it rush delivered to me. I put this new zipper in. The day later, I found my zippers that was missing. Because that's how it rolls. I have a lot of extra stuff because I can't find what I'm looking for because I'm not organized. So I try, and it's an ADHD trait. If I organize too much and I put things out of sight, then I forget they're there. They don't exist anymore because they're out of sight. And that's an ADHD trait that I did not know was an ADHD trait until recently. So, but I am going to rock on off of here. I appreciate everybody who has hung out with me for the last 3.5 hours while I finish sewing the bottom part of that hat together. I appreciate it greatly. And I don't know if I'm going to stream tomorrow or not. I might take the day off, or if I do, it's going to be putting a pattern together for a couple of projects, drafting patterns, and stuff like that. It won't be sewing. So I'll just see how I'm feeling tomorrow. Get some more antibiotics in my body. And I will talk to you all later. If you have not done so, please hit that thumbs up. If you're watching this later, please give me a thumbs up. I don't mind. Put it on in the background and let it play. Let it go and repeat. Tell your friends to subscribe. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. Tell your friends to subscribe. Tell your friends' friends to subscribe. I would love to get an increase in subscribers. If I get to the point that I am being monetized, then I will also start doing giveaways, because the monetization I will use the monetization to pay for the giveaways. And, it could be giveaways as simple as a keychain, or if I meet a very significant goal, it may be a custom bag. So I do hope I get to see everybody soon. Don't forget that I usually stream on Mondays. And then on Tuesdays and Thursdays, you can catch a lot of us that hang out over at Two Leaves in a Pod. They come on around 9:30, 10 o'clock. On Tuesdays, it is general conversation, getting the news, and some game night. On Thursdays, it's usually some conversation, some news, and sales. On Friday nights at somewhere between 7 and 7:30, you can usually find us over at Get Swamped, where we will listen to Robbie give his summary of the week, open his mail, and sell us pretty things. If you have not watched his stuff, you should. He puts out a video pretty much every week, or a short, or he goes live. He has some amazing animals. Then he and his son take care of them all. They have a couple of people that help them on occasion, but for the most part, it's Robbie and Z that take care of the property. He does run a 501c3 for the animals. So when you donate to him, you're donating to animals. You're taking care of animals, and you will see some of the most gorgeous animals he has. And he also does alligator rescues from Florida area. Many gator trappers will trap them and euthanize them, send them to a processor and sell them off. And Robbie chooses not to do that, even though he does not get paid for his gator trapping. The budget for paying gator trappers usually is gone early in the year. He's lucky if he gets 2 to 3 times that he gets paid, and that's not a lot. But he chooses to let the gators live either on his property, or if it is under 4 feet, he will relocate it to a safe place in Florida. If it's 10 feet or more, he might wind up taking it down to Gatorland, but he tries to save every gator possible. If you like unboxing videos and seeing crystals and gems, you can pop over and see Diana Wisely. She has been gathering a lot of spheres lately. When her schedule permits, because of her work, you can also find Stacy Northern Aurora Treasures on selling things. They do some amazing 3D work in addition to selling off crystals and gems and stuff. And often when she is on, you can also find Flutter Yo on the sale floor with her selling stuff. But Flutter also does fishing videos. This past winter, I got to see her out there ice fishing. It was scary listening to the ice crack under her feet. But yeah, this is our crew. This is our people. And the latest that's starting to post videos in our group is Phil. Phil is recently been put in a wheelchair, and he is going to start filming his adventures. And sometimes he'll be accompanied by his pup. So please jump on over to their channels, subscribe, give them some watch time watching their videos. And my husband says, no ice fishing. That's a hard no. But of course, we have an agreement that if it's a place that gets over an average of 4 inches a year, we're not living there anyway. So that won't be a problem, because you're not going to find ice fishing in Georgia unless you're fishing ice out of your drink. So thank you all again for stopping by. I am logging off for the night. I think I'm going to kick back and maybe get me an ice cream. That might be good. I will talk to you all later. Bye for now.